Hi there. Today this is the first video of HumemAI, a machine with human-like memory systems. I even have a domain. There's not much in the playground yet. Everything is under construction. So far it has been my university academic project, and now I want to scale things up to actual product. So there are a lot of repos. And I would like to talk about the most important repo here, which is also called HumemAI. So HumemAI looks like this. It's built on a cognitive architecture, functions as the brain of your own agent. It has human-like memory, like short-term and long-term memory, and the memory is represented as a knowledge graph, either as an RDF graph or a property graph. It includes a persistent graph database. So the input and output of HumemAI is a graph. So as you can see, just like you use your large language model, OpenAI, ChatGPT, the user interface is going to be text. You type some kind of text, it's going to do something, and it's going to output text. But everything happening under the hood, it's going to be a lot of graph stuff. So we need text-to-graph module, also graph-to-text module, which are under construction. If you want to use images or videos, then it's also included. They also have to be converted into graph so that the HumemAI can take care of it. So it's in PyPy server. Version is 2.1. Seems pretty high, but not really, because version 1 up till then I've been writing university papers, things like this. So I use this module. So it was pretty small environment, pretty small maze, navigation, memory management, stuff like that. But now I'm gonna scale this up to an actual product or actual usable memory agent. So you can check out my first implementation using RDF Python package. It's pretty long. It's all doing some graph stuff. And made a very simple example here that uses an example agent. So like I said, it's inspired by human cognitive science. So it's going to do a lot of short-term, everything is initially stored as a short-term memory. And the agent decides that if it wants to move that to long-term memory or just forget it, and things like that. So this is a very simple example. Processing input. I get this text. You convert this into graph. I use SpaCy library for that, and then that's going to be initially stored as a short-term memory, and then you can clear all the short-term memories. Let's say I want to process another input. We're going to process that input to, it's going to be stored as a graph. It's a short-term memory, and then now I'm going to do one by one like that. I'm going to store it in short-term memory. You decide what you're going to do with it. You put it in the long-term memory and whatsoever, and you can check this out. So after all this conversation is done, the agent's memory will look like something like this. Alice met Bob. Obviously that was the first memory, and it was known since then. Location, it does these things. But SpaCy is not perfect. We can do better with Microsoft Graph Rack, for example. They've been working on this for a while now. So I have a lot to do. And also this example does not show you the actual use case. For example, you want to ask the agent a question. What's the capital of Netherlands or South Korea, something like that. And it can use existing memory to answer those questions. Or things like that. So they are not done yet. So still working in progress. What I would like to do, here are to-dos. So I'm currently working on this. I've been using RDF-based graph. Your RDF graph look like this. It's especially popular in semantic web. They are all stored as triples, but it has some pros and cons. And I've noticed that what's getting more popular in graph database is property graph data. For example, if you see database ranking, when it comes to graph, Neo4j is the biggest, as you can see, and RDF-based graph they're not really being used. Apache Gina, That's RDA4J. It's not that big. People use more property graphs, especially in companies, which I'm going to talk about in a later post, comparing RDF and property graph. So yeah, but Neo4j, it's not free. Well, it has community edition, enterprise edition, but I'm all about open source, so I'm going to go with Apache Cassandra, which is not a graph database. It's a wide column multimodal NoSQL graph database, NoSQL database. And then based on that, on top of that, I can use Apache Tinkerpop, Gremlin. What was that? Janus Graph. It doesn't have a graph database, Janus Graph itself. It has to have a backend database, which is going to be Cassandra, or it can be anything else. So I'm going to work on that, make the example again, and then get the simple text to graph. Instead of using Spacey, I can do something what GraphRag is doing with Microsoft, and then implemented very simple things so that I can make an actual use case. And yeah, I will get back to you guys. Thank you.